Distributors e-commerce network for professionals by professionals.
So something I want to talk about today is the effects that Amazon is having on the big distribution models where throughout history, brands have always sought out large distributors in order to be able to pick up their brands because that could turn their brand from a nothing into a household name, especially since they're able to now introduce it to nationwide retailers and open up doors for sales channels that never would have been available to the brand before, and the ability to now fulfill those orders to nationwide retailers and other resources that weren't previously available to the brand. So some of the real advantages it has in working with some large retailers, and I'll just talk for a second. We represent dozens and dozens of clients in the vitamin and supplements or in the CPG or specialty foods industries. So one of the largest and most profitable distributors in that place is called Unify. And they're a phenomenal company, and I've literally watched them take companies from people's garages to nationwide household brands. But with anything that accelerates that much growth to where now all of a sudden they're on store shelves all over the place, people know their brand name, there's now ability to acquire that product or inventory at wholesale from these distributors and from other resources. And also online, the sales will typically pick up exponentially to where common tools that unauthorized marketplace sellers, and particularly on Amazon or on Walmart, will use in order to identify new hot trend products and then look for sources to acquire them. And some of the first places they look are large distributors that either offer the products at wholesale or with drop shipping options for these sellers. So why is this bad? Quite simply, you've now got people that are not in compliance and not authorized by your brand to sell your products on marketplaces that are known for selling the products at a discount rate with premium shipping. This is now a potential to divert sales from the retailers that you've just worked so hard to build relationships with through the large distributors that you've been fortunate enough to contract with. And in addition, they can really wreak havoc on things like your MAP pricing, the integrity or quality of your products, because you have no idea where or how it's being stored or where it was acquired from. In other industries such as electronics or even pet supplies or pet toys, a lot of times there are products that are returned to stores that are liquidated or sold off in auction sites or things like that. Now that you have this big household brand, people are looking to acquire this product for cheap in order to be able to flip it on the marketplaces. And in doing so, the brand can now be associated with substandard product that they would never sell or put their name on in the first place. So there are some real conflicts that can arise from having unauthorized sellers that are now selling your brand without your permission, and it can actually dilute the brand just as quickly as you had built its reputation and expanding to those distributors. So what does it really take to win? What does it take to get ahead of the game and still be able to function in profitability even with the negative effects of unauthorized sellers getting your product from these distributors? Well, for one, it is imperative that as a company, as a brand, from the top down, that you're unified in your approach and how you're going to handle it. Secondarily is that you have to have the tools and the personnel, either inside or contracted outside, that are capable of identifying which sellers are actually harmful to your brand, and being able to determine which those are and the metrics to be able to measure that. You also need to have the technology and the personnel resources to be able to identify who the owners of those seller accounts are beyond the anonymous or fictitious storefront names on the marketplaces. And that can prove to be a very difficult challenge for a lot of brands. And then, in talking to thousands of brands and seeing the way that this has worked across multiple verticals and in different industry groups, one thing that I have found that's absolutely imperative is that you've got to have the right enforcement strategy in order to, once you know who these targets are and what they're doing, in order to be able to bring them into compliance with your brand standards so that you can protect the reputation for your brand that you're actually working so hard to build.